Cruz está aquí. Bazi, Svegliati roccatelli fossemi, roccatelli fossemi, Bazi, testimoni Santa Croce sta qui. Bazi, Svegliati roccatelli fossemi, roccatelli fossemi, Bazi.
Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done front like Rooney. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I
front like Rooney. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I'm front like.
I'm up front like Rooney.
Flow like Rooney.
Bare their threats I got last year till this day. No bullet has gone through me. Out here like an action movie. Then when I soft like strawberry smoothie. Harry gonna be in a bitch. You'll get left in a ditch. Cool. I'm out of order, so unruly. Man wanna wear my flow like clothes, but still wanna come around and guys school me. Got a joke, what a flip, what a bully. Come to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. Came to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. You'll get left in a ditch. I'm up front like Rooney.
Flow like Rooney.
Bare their threats I got last year till this day. No bullet has gone through me. Out here like an action movie. Then when I soft like strawberry smoothie. Harry gonna be in a bitch. You'll get left in a ditch. I'm out of order, so unruly. Man wanna wear my flow like clothes, but still wanna come around and guys school me. What a joker, what a flip, what a bully. Come to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. Came to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. You'll get left in a ditch. I'm up front like Rooney. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done front like Rooney. Man can't say that I didn't done told him.
Man can't say that I'm up front like Rooney. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I didn't done told him. Man can't say that I'm up front like Rooney. 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 Rooney. Front like Rooney. Rooney.
Front like Rooney. Front like Rooney. I'm up front like Rooney.
Flow like Rooney.
Bare their threats I got last year till this day. No bullet has gone through me. Out here like an action movie. Then when I soft like strawberry smoothie. Harry gonna be in a bitch. You'll get left in a ditch. I'm out of order, so unruly. Man wanna wear my flow like clothes, but still wanna come around and guys school me. What a joker, what a flip, what a bully. Come to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. Came to the bits with a spawn off Uzi. You'll get left in a ditch. Front like
Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring. If they become harsh or flat, the speaker's high frequency response is peaky or distorted.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Orleans, Louisiana, home of the hit.
All right, welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, July 23rd. Let me turn down the music a little bit. Yes, it is Thursday, July 23rd. Welcome in, Bishonen in a Box. I don't know why Google translated the hee-hee to hi-hi. I mean, it translated the hi-hi to the hee-hee. I didn't know we have Michael Jackson in the chat. All right, welcome in, everyone. We have a fantastic stream coming up today. We have a lot of news to cover. Apologies for being gone for so long, but working on a lot of stuff on the back end, as usual, right? I got articles going on. I got interviews set up. We got a lot of stuff going on, chat, so I hope you are excited because I am excited. At 1 p.m., we have special guests coming in. The special guest is one of my former professors, Thomas Corrigan, Dr. Thomas Corrigan. He is a communications professor and, kind of the whole reason I started this stream. So we'll be sure to talk about that at 1 p.m. And then also one of his colleagues, her name is Corey. I was going to say Connie, but her name is Corey. And I believe she is also a professor as well. So we are going to look in all of that together. And along with covering some of the Chad Bianco news. Here we go. There we go. We have, so finally, we're going to cover some of this Chad Bianco news. Homie's been crazy. I think he's going to run for sheriff again. Because that's just the kind of dude he is. So, but yeah. All right, let's get into it. Let's pause the music here. And let's get into this CSUSB stuff first. So that way we are well prepared for the interview. I just forgot to do an Instagram story saying that we are live. Okay. Okay, here we go. Happy Thursday, everyone. We have a fantastic stream coming up today. We have a great interview lined up at 1 p.m. with CSUSB CFA. That's the teachers union there. And we're also going to be talking about more CSUSB news. We had our old president leave, new president come in. She's from Cal Poly. We got to look into her. And then also later on in the stream, we are going to finally go over all the Chad Bianco nonsense. See what's going on with the Riverside County and see what they're going to do to prevent that from happening in the future. So hit the link. Be sure to come on in and enjoy. It's going to be a good stream today. Hey, DV8, Butter Cat Loaf. Thank you. That's a new one. I was just recording my Instagram story. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to cover. I hope you are doing well. Oh yeah, that's right. Throw the España in the chat. We're all Spanish, aren't we? That was a crazy game. I'm kind of low key happy that Argentina lost though. Sorry to say, Messi had it coming. Hey, Stardust City Hag. Howdy, everyone. Hey, all the friends are here. It's good to see y'all. Like I said, we're gonna have a good one. Who was chat? Who was your favorite player of the World Cup? Because I will tell you mine in just a second. And it's probably the same favorite player as Stardust City Hag. Oh, Bashon in a box said the 17 Mexican boy. Yeah. Well, he's not Mexican, right? He's Spanish. Or there's a 19-year-old Spanish soccer player. But okay, yeah, that's right. There was a 17-year-old Mexican boy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, no, no. Deviate said Mark Cucurella, and that's the 19-year-old that's the 19-year-old Spanish player, right? Yeah. See, Stardust City Hack, my favorite. Vozhinia, however you say his name. Vozhinia? Vozhinia. Oh no, Deviate said no, it's the one with the big hair. Give me just a second here. Oh, this guy. Okay. Hey, we kind of twinning right now. I could have that hair. Nah, honestly, he reminds me of my old friend from high school. His name was James, and he had this same exact hair. Homie was half Mexican, half Cuban. Shout out to James. I hope you're doing well. All right, let me finish this Instagram story. Deviate said we will never forget Cabo Verde. Yeah, that was amazing game. Amazing game. So, did everyone win big bucks? Oh, everyone needs to like the video. Please like the video. I forgot to say that. But I hope everyone won big bucks over the World Cup because, what's it called? Poly market and everything. Okay. What else were we gonna? Oh yeah, yeah, Chad Bianco, Chadadiah, Chadburn, Chadford Bianco, Chadford Bianco. I feel like we need to make Bianco longer. Biancochi, Biancellio, Biancelli. Okay, sorry, we're being silly here. Chad Bianco drama. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. All right. Okay, we can get into it now. Yeah, Cabo Verde was the best. In my opinion, they were the MVP. I mean, most valuable team. All right, cool. The story is getting lots of likes. We got it shared by Teamsters 1932. Hell yeah. Okay. All right. Let's just get started with this. Okay, so this was written yesterday. Cal State gives $340,000 job to ex-president who stepped down after discrimination lawsuit. Yes. Okay. So here is President Thomas Morales. Like I said on past broadcast, I've had the pleasure of meeting this man, and he just sounds like a New Yorker. He needs to go back to where he came from, which is the Bronx or Brooklyn or whatever. Go back to New York. You have Mayor Mamdani. I don't know why you want to be here in San Bernardino. So anyways, yeah, this is Tomas Morales, old dude retiring, but I think he kind of retired because of gender discrimination lawsuits and harassment. I mean, gender discrimination and harassment. lawsuit that happened under his watch. Um, alleged, thank you. Alleged discrimination and uh, harassment. Okay. So, anyways, let's read this article specifically talking about his retirement and also how he will be getting, he'll be able to consult with the school for a year, and that's an entire salary. All right. A California State University president who stepped down following a multi-million-dollar settlement in a case accusing him of gender-based discrimination and harassment will earn a six-figure salary this coming year while he's between Cal State jobs. I thought he was supposed to be retiring. During the transition period, former Cal State San Bernardino president Tomas Morales will provide international consulting for Cal State. Oh, so it's for all the Cal States, not just CSUSB. Bro, no. I thought, he'll be consulting while the transition is happening to help this new person, get all the, figure it out. No, he's just going to be, they just put him on the payroll. That's crazy. Okay, and work on strengthening the university's international initiatives and global partnerships. Bro, okay. So Tomas Morales told me 2 years ago that his biggest focus was enrollment, right? And how much Cal State San Bernardino's enrollment has decreased, I guess. I'll have to check those numbers later, but, I was just taking him at his word, right? No reason not to believe him as of yet. And so, enrollment is down, and apparently that's why they have to keep pushing up the tuition. They have to keep jacking up the tuition because there's just not enough students going to this school to sustain all the things, I guess. Strengthening it with international partnerships, I bet. Like getting more international students. Is that what it is? California State University International Program. Okay, no, that's just it. Yeah, they're just trying to get international students to come to Cal State San Bernardino or just to come to Cal State, period. Damn. That's what I would love to know because I feel like it's a lot. I want to know how many how much of the school is supported by international student tuition, right? Is it more local student, or I should say, resident student tuition, or is it international student tuition? Cuz that's crazy to me. But we'll see. All right. Morales announced his plan for departure last August and officially left the university at the end of this school year, joining an executive transition program in which he will be paid $343,920. It's almost, let's just say $350K a year, right? Over a long period starting this August. The salary is typical for Cal State executives in this program, said Cal State Chancellor Mildred Garcia, who announced Morales' interim role at the Board of Trustees Committee meeting Wednesday. And that's when on Wednesday, which I guess was yesterday? Yeah. Wednesday was when, whatever, let's just continue reading. The Board of Trustees also unanimously granted Morales President Emeritus status Wednesday afternoon, a title given as a gesture of appreciation for his service to the university. Oh, that's what that bullshit, this BS word, emeritus? Because I know professors can be emeritus too. And I'm like, what does this mean? DV8 said, did you get new lighting? No, I just completely remodeled. No, not remodeled. I completely revamped my entire setup because I had to get a new monitor because Beebs peed on the old monitor. And so I was like, let me just clean everything up. So now I have a really clean setup and I just placed the lights a lot better. So, but thank you. We're still trying to figure it out. I know it's a little bit like we got a big shadow behind me that I'm not used to. But yeah. So big orange cat energy. Beebs almost peed on the monitor again this morning, but that wasn't my fault, not his. I left things that he would like to pee on on the desk. Okay. Um okay, Morales, a former dean at San Bernardino's Palm Desert campus. Jake Zhu, this is the guy who was accused of gender-based discrimination and harassment and retaliation in 2023 lawsuit that Cal State San Bernardino recently settled for $12 million. That's a lot, $12 million between, I think, two women. Claire Weber and Anissa Rogers, both former San Bernardino administrators, alleged they were instructed to resign after reporting a gender pay gap. Damn. And discriminatory bullying to higher ups. Cal State continues to deny the wrongdoing and determine Morales will be in good standing, which renders him eligible for the transition program. Executives may become ineligible if the chancellor finds they violated university policy or engaged in serious misconduct. I mean, at this point, though, how much of university norms is it to just cover up this type of thing? So, but I mean, no, we need it to be as exposed as possible. Weber, who also alleged she was fired weeks after asking Morales for a raise over email to bridge what she called a gender-based pay gap, said the ex-president would not remain in good standing. Okay, so there's something there, but we don't know. Male Cal State employees are, quote, protected when they behave badly, when they mistreat women, when they harass women, when they retaliate against them, Weber said. The tendency is to protect the university. Morales' office did not respond to a request for comment. Yeah, he's not going to respond, bro. They're not going to respond. You might as well just go bug, what was her name? The chancellor, Mildred Garcia. She's, or at this point, honestly, my dream, y'all have heard me say this. My dream interview is our Lord and Savior Gavin Newsom, right? Future President of the United States, Gavin Newsom. If I could get Gavin Newsom on the stream, which at this point I think it might be a reality, bro. This might be possible. The way we're growing, we got this. We got this. If I could talk to Gavin Newsom, I'm gonna totally 100% ask him about this whole CSU UC system. Because, man, it seems like it's just straight up only like the whole state of California. Just, I don't know. There's not enough oversight on this. And then to add insult to injury, it's just like it's just like a money raking in scheme for the California State University system. And it's like, man, we need to what happened? Is the California State University system a B tier? Ivy League. I couldn't get into Harvard because I'm an international student and it's so competitive. I couldn't get into Harvard, so I went to Cal State San Bernardino. Is the CSU system just focused on raking in the money? Because if that's what if that's the goal, then maybe we're like in the wrong business, Because from what I understand, through all the years of history, through all the years of education, the Cal State, the university system is meant to educate people, to promote research, to promote, collaboration. And everything that's been happening at this school has been not collaborative at all. It's crazy. Deviate said, Bashona in a box said, damn, BB. Yeah. DV8 said, also make it a right to get an education. Yes, make it a right to get an education at a reasonable price. With, reasonable people, too, Okay. Okay, so, Morales' new campus president still high earners. During the year-long transition period, Morales will be required to submit a monthly report to the chancellor chronicling activities and milestones completed, according to a board document. President Thomas Morales has served Cal State San Bernardino with distinction for 14 years, demonstrating exceptional leadership on behalf of the university and his students, Garcia said in the meeting. Bro, it's like, Mildred, come to CSUSB. Come to CSUSB and see what it looks like there. Morales will also provide guidance and support to incoming Cal State San Bernardino President S. Terry Gomez, Garcia said at the meeting. Gomez, the current provost and vice president of academic affairs at Cal Poly Pomona, will assume the role on August 3rd. Damn, she's getting thrown in right away. The committee approved a 400,000 I can't even read this number. I don't know how to read it. It's almost $500,000 salary, okay? It's almost $500,000 salary with everything else. Like, that's the thing that blows my mind away. How come the president of the university gets a housing allowance, but then like the students have to pay to live on campus, but the employee, the president of the United States, the president of CSUSB gets to paid to live on campus or to live off campus? He just gets paid to live, I guess. And an additional auto allowance of $1,000 per month. What do you mean an additional auto allowance? Just give Gomez the Tesla that that Morales had. Give her the Tesla. We don't need to get her a new car. Okay. Gomez made $338,000 in base pay in 2024. So she's getting a big increase, $100,000 more. That's crazy. In 2024, 69 of the Cal State's 1,000, oh my God, these numbers, bro. 69 out of the almost 200,000 employees earned a salary of higher than 343,000. Thank you. I'm struggling with the numbers today. But okay. So only 69 employees. So what is that a percentage of? Did they say? Hold on, I need a calculator. Okay, so 118,843 divided by 69. Or I was supposed to do that the other way. Whoops. 69 divided by 118,843. There we go. Only 0.5% of the employees, make, like, and let's be real, that wage is probably a very decent wage for living in Southern California. You can have a family, you can have a house, like a nice house. That's crazy. Like, I want to say that probably $300,000 is what like you need for, a dual family. You have kids, 2 working parents. I feel like that's how much you would need to actually sustain a family. So that's crazy that only 69, only 0.5% make more than that. At like, what's the medium or what's the mean salary of those employees? Okay. Whatever. Just me being curious about math. Morales' salary was $500,000 in 2024, the 6th highest earning salary in the Cal State system, behind the chancellor and 4 other campus presidents. So you're telling me Thomas Morales was doing, like, CSUSB was the 4th well-performing school that this guy got that good of a salary? Okay. The average university salary in 2024 was, there we go. The average university salary is $40,000 a year. That's poverty wages, bro. $40,000 a year. Like $30,000 a year is like your what's it called? Not what's less than poverty. It's like you're completely impoverished, right? That's crazy. I wonder how much the teachers make. I mean, I talked to some of the teachers, and like I talked to the chair of a department, and he told me that his salary was over 100,000 but under 200,000. That's crazy. All right. San Bernardino's chapter of the California Faculty Association Labor Union, that's who we're going to have on the stream today, asked Cal State to open an investigation into university administrators perpetuating gender discrimination and deny Morales executive transition benefits in social media post yesterday. Oh, what was this? Yes, this is the post that we want to look at. This is where I was like, yes, DVA, I talked to a chair, and it has the same voice as Hassan Piker. Okay, so yeah, this is from the CFA CSUSB, like I said, who we were having on the stream today. This is their post. $12 million discrimination suit up for a transition job. Crazy. All right. Morales' transition assignment will last from August 3rd, 2026 to August 2nd, 2027. During this period, Morales will transfer to the Management Personnel Plan, granting him the employment rights and benefits of university managers and supervisors, Cal State spokesperson Amy Bentley Smith said. Bentley Smith did not respond to a request for comment on what job Morales will take after the transition period, which had have been previously decided according to a 2022 Board of Trustees agenda item. Oh my God. Outlining the policy. We are deeply grateful for President Morales' outstanding leadership at Cal State San Bernardino and statewide, Garcia said at Wednesday's meeting. No members of the Board of Trustees committee made any comments or asked any questions after Garcia's announcement. Of course, because how much you want to bet they were all in on it? Or, I mean, it was no surprise to them, you know? All right, so that was Cal Matters on this subject. Phoebe Huss, thank you so much for writing this. This is good. Let me add this to my notes real quick. But yeah, okay, so, y'all know that I had previously covered the CSUSB physician assistant program not going through. To me, that is a big L, and it seems like nobody paid the consequences for fumbling that entire thing. And as we determined, you can pull up my video, we determined that there was no one else to blame but the school for not hiring the appropriate staff to actually, staff the department. And so the entire physician assistant program just fell through. Money that Joe Baca Jr. got for the school to help, bring in more medical or physician's assistants into the Inland Empire, because we have a horrible doctor to patient ratio. We have a horrible wait time of waiting, of healthcare. It's bad. So, it's like whose fault is that, and why is the president getting rewarded? Like, I don't want to be mean to the guy, because obviously he's old and retiring, and you want to retire with the best amount you can, right? But like, come on, bro, you can't be spitting in people's faces and then expecting them to pat you on the back. That ain't it. All right, let's get into the next article. That's to me, it's also crazy that he's not even going to be exclusively working for Cal State San Bernardino. He's going to be working to get international kids to come to the schools. That's so bogus, in my opinion. So bogus. Okay. Oh yeah, here we even had Yahoo News, the California Post, which is just the New York Post. They covered this story too. Disgraced California college president accused of harassment to earn outrageous 6-figure salary, by Daniel Farr, literally written today, this morning. A California university president accused of fostering a workplace where gender discrimination and harassment were allegedly standard operating procedures is walking away with a $300,000 taxpayer-funded check. The move comes just months after the California State University system paid $12 million to settle the explosive lawsuit that named him. Okay, deviate. Let me read your question real quick. In my article, you said you see Chad Bianco as MTG. where you could see him turning on Trump. Was wondering, what do you see that Chad would do, because I don't see it. I know. I think maybe I was had a little bit more faith in Chad Bianco. But I thought he would be like a Marjorie Taylor Greene type of guy. Um, but I don't know. Uh, yeah, I mean, you don't see it, then I guess let me explain it a little bit better. It was just kind of more of that aura, right? That Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was like on board with Donald Trump until he wronged her, and then she did a complete flip. That's what I was saying I see Chad Bianco doing. Although I don't know if he is going to do that. Like I said, we will read about Chad Bianco later on in the stream because we need to catch up with him. Yeah, on a side note, I was driving around my city yesterday. Shout out to Ranch Cucamonga, and all the houses that were previously like Trump flag houses, all of those, which were, we could probably safely say they were MAGA supporters, right? All of those Trump flags gone. Um, I saw I haven't really seen any I haven't seen any Chad Bianco supporters in person. I saw one, and he was a Latino guy and he was driving a truck. So that kind of tells you all you need to know there. But those houses that were previously Trump, they're the only houses I see that have Steve Hilton signs. So the point I was trying to make there is that I see Steve Hilton as always being a Trump loyalist, like a Lindsey Graham type. Lindsey Graham literally was a Trump loyalist all the way to the grave. um, and yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. And you can always, 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 always comment on the Substack articles. Yeah, I guess I would say that I imagine Chad Bianco. All right, appreciate it. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, I just don't see. I see Chad Bianco like, you know, I thought he would be more of a, loose cannon, more of a guy who thinks on his own, but I don't know, maybe his loyalties to like Patriot Front and stuff is more of an indicator that he is more of a follower instead of a leader. So that's kind of what it means. But then again, it's like I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene did all that Trump turning because she genuinely felt that way, or I mean, I'm sure it was a balance between, her saying I feel betrayed by Trump, so I'm going to turn on him too, or I found out that Trump is actually part of the pedophile cabal that I have been talking about, and he lied to me, and now I'm totally turning on him. It's like that's kind of what I see. But thank you for bearing with me as I process my political thoughts, because this is all new to me, chat. I have not written about politics, I mean, ever in my life, except for the past 2 years that I went to Cal State San Bernardino. Okay, let's go back to Morales. He just should have retired a long time ago. Despite being accused of creating toxic work environment, outgoing Cal State San Bernardino President Tomas Morales was approved Wednesday for a 1-year executive transition assignment by the California State University Board of Trustees. Yeah. That decision immediately drew outrage from the attorney who represented the 2 former administrators behind the lawsuit. CSU has a significant problem when it comes to dealing with gender discrimination and harassment and retaliation. And we've seen nothing to date to show that it is taking we haven't seen nothing to date to show that it is taking this issue seriously. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, what are they doing to take it seriously? Andrew Friedman, a partner with Heimler Friedman LLP, who represented the 2 administrators, Claire Weber and Anissa Rogers, told the Los Angeles Times. The lawsuit, filed in 2023, accused Morales of discrimination against women, direct ranting directing ranting tirades, sorry, at female employees, approving lower salaries for women than similarly situated male colleagues, and fostering a workplace where harassment had become the SOP, the standard operating procedure. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like that at the administrative level. The complaint also named former Palm Desert campus dean Jake Zhu as and the CSU Board of Trustees. Yeah. Oh, here's Mr. Jake Zhu. According to the lawsuit, Morales' alleged conduct was reported to the interim chancellor Jolene Costner, who quote unquote did absolutely nothing, and the university allegedly retaliated against Weber and Rogers after they raised concerns about Morales and Zhu. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. The California State University system settled the lawsuit in March while denying any wrongdoing and saying it resolved the case to avoid further cost of litigation. Yeah, because y'all were going to get busted. So, of course, you settled out of court, you know? Rogers won a $6 million jury award October 25, while Weber accepted a separate $6 million settlement before trial. Interesting. During a Wednesday's Board of Trustees meeting, CSU Chancellor Mildred Garcia praised Morales for his outstanding leadership, blah, 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 while announcing the transition assignment, the Times reported. CSU spokesperson Amy Bentley Smith, what a name, told the Times the lawsuit did not result in any findings against him individually. What, bro? It was on your watch, though. The buck has to stop somewhere, right? And litigation outcomes do not determine an employee's standing. The university said Morales remains in good standing, making him eligible for the executive transition program. CSU has defended the six-figure payout, saying the program helps recruit top executives in a competitive market while preserving institutional knowledge after university leaders step down. All right, so here's where I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to sound like a mid-level manager right now. Yeah, Deviate said the deer has to stop. The buck has to stop. So here's my mid-level manager hot take. They hired this new person, and this was a promotion for her, right? Why did they give her so much more money, right? They should have gave her less than what they were paying Morales. Because, you know, I could understand the whole bumping up his wage to recruit competitive talent would make sense if we hired another president, right? It would make sense if we stole a president from another school who was like doing fantastic, and we're like, all right, this is the guy. We're going to do good, you know, give him the money up front, you know, because the results show. When you're promoting someone, it's a gamble, bro. And listen, I'm not saying anything bad against the new person. I am giving her nothing but benefit of the doubt, right? Nothing but benefit of the doubt. But this new president, like, has a lot to prove, right? If she was only the provost, which I had to do research on what provost means, it's just like the top professor. It's like the top professor of all the professors, I guess, right? It's like all the professors got together and, well, I don't think they chose who was going to represent them, but it's like the singular professor to communicate between administrative, high level, whatever, all that BS. That's what a provost is. So as far as I know, and it's, I'll be honest, it's not that very much, right? We're still learning. As far as I know, like, she has no presidential experience. Like, I don't know what the hell Morales did, but like, clearly it was something, right? I don't know. She's going to be coming into this new thing. She's going to be coming into it, learning on the job. And that's why it's like, okay, that makes sense why you would have the previous president on the payroll to help teach her, to help, you know, the new person learn the ropes, right? But I don't think that's the case. I think, you know, CSU wants him to go do this international recruitment thing. You know, he's going to go across seas and be a recruiter for the CSU system, it sounds like. So it might very well be that this that this new president is gonna like be doing a lot of on the job learning. And again, I have nothing wrong with that. But this is a big, big, big mess, it sounds like. I don't know how deep the corruption runs, you know? Like also I saw that from President Morales there was an email and it was saying that one of the VPs stepped down and like it's crazy. I don't understand why she would step down when when it's like whatever. It's just there's just not a lot of like fully transparent stuff, and it's giving me when there's no transparency, it's just making me go into my mind and think the worst, right? So, but yes, DVA, it's a Kirby shirt. I got it at Target. Morales announced last year that he would step down at the end of 2025-26 academic year before the case was settled. Morales collected, oh my God, more than $500,000 in salary and benefits in 2024. Jesus. Faculty leaders also blasted the taxpayer-funded send-off. California Faculty Association San Bernardino chapter President Tiffany Jones called rewarding Morales a stunning failure of accountability and direct betrayal of students, faculty, and staff. At the time when campuses face budget constraints, staffing shortages, and growing student needs, CSU resources must not be used to provide a financial cushion for failed leadership, Jones said in a news release. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But then also the cynic in me wants to say, they were going to give them, they were going to give him this, what is it called when you leave a job and they give you whatever. It's not a settlement, but it's something similar. The word escapes my mind right now. Severance package. That's what it is. Something like that. So they were always going to give him this amount of pay for leaving. And it was always just about covering up like what happened to these two ladies and all the other gender-based discrimination, which is crazy. Okay, so thank you, California Post, Daniel Farr, and Yahoo News. Let me put this in my notes real quick. All right, how are we on time? Okay, it's only 12:30. All right. Oh, that was Phoebe Huss. We already read that one. Yeah, this was the same one. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get into the new president, just so we can learn a little bit about her, and then yeah, we'll get into. Here we go. Oh, good. We can watch it.
Evening, California State University San Bernardino has selected a new president. The CSU Board of Trustees has appointed Dr. S. Terry Gomez, who currently serves as provost
first name?
And vice president for academic affairs at Cal Poly Pomona, to lead the university. Gomez is a first-generation college graduate and Inland Empire native who began her higher education journey at San Bernardino Valley College before earning her bachelor's, master's, and doctorate from UCLA. University leaders say Gomez has spent nearly 3 decades championing student success, academic innovation, and expanding access to higher education. Dr. Gomez officially assumes the presidency on August 3rd. We're looking at the Easter celebration over at...
No, Easter celebration. That's it. That's all. It was just a press release. Okay. Let's see. Dr. S. Terry with an I Gomez. Thank you, DV8. Yes, the YouTube banner, that was a classic. That used to be my Facebook banner. But yeah, it's beautiful. Well, it's just a placeholder until we find something else better. Okay. Uh, oh no, was she not even provost for that long? Oh my god. Okay, the Pally post. What a name. What a name. Cal Poly Pomona never changed. Go Broncos, right? Okay. By Matthew Acosta and Christine Counts. October 10th, 2023. Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost of Cal Poly Pomona, Jennifer Brown, was removed from her position October 2nd. The unexpected dismissal marks the fifth change in the provost position since University President Soraya M. Cooley arrived. No. So, oh my God, is the CSUSB new president? Did she just take this job because she was going to get kicked out of this job because this is just a revolving door? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so the university president arrived in 2015. I think that's around the same time Thomas Morales arrived at CSUSB. The provost position at Cal Poly Pomona had Martin. No, what is his man's name? Martin Denbone. His name is Martin Denboner. Okay. Okay, CPP has had Martin de Boner. Den Boyer, thank you. Den Boyer. Sylvia, Alvia, okay, whatever. Just all these, okay. And now S. Terry Gomez in an 8-year span. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people. The Office of the President announced to faculty and staff in an email that Brown is replaced by Terry Gomez as provost, providing little detail about the reasons behind the decision. The only mentions Cooley made about Brown is in an email statement that she will return to the classroom in fall of 2024 and thank Brown for her service to CPP. Yes, but shown in a box. What a name. Deviate the yeah. Bonnier. Thank you. Brown received communication about her removal directly from Cooley in an 8-page performance evaluation handed to her in person. Damn, bro. What a terrible. Here's your performance. Here's your performance evaluation. By the way, you're fired. It's 8 pages in. You have to read it yourself. That's terrible. All right. Brown has since filed a management personnel plan reconsideration to have administration review her firing. Overall, before addressing each concern, I feel the series of expectations of me are changing and that I am being treated differently, wrote Brown in an email response to the 8-page letter. The university is currently unable to comment on Brown's departure due to the situation involving personnel matters. Brown began her role as provost in April 1st, 2022. And then she was kicked out a year later. And then, oh my God, hold on, S. Terry. What is her first name? We need to find out what her first name is. So yeah, that lady was only in this position for a little while. Yikes. She's going to be so green as president then. One of Brown's main goals during her tenure at CPP was to empower deans and faculty in order to enact a trickle-down effect to influence student success both in the classrooms and in their future careers. It was really trying to take this every day, being impactful and doing what I could to be the best for students, faculty, and staff, and balancing what the president and the chancellor's office need, want, and expect, and what our faculty and staff need. I already read that. Sorry. In a LinkedIn post, Brown highlighted her hiring of 6 deans during her 18 months as provost and left words of hope for all their futures, even if she was fired from her position. Well, yeah, I mean, if she put all those people in there, then those are her people. The other management and administration is not going to want to have anything to do with those people. Bro, I hate, excuse me. I hate how, I need to get water after this. I hate how, like, grossly incompetently political these universities are. Like, why can't they just be like normal businesses? Okay. All of the academic affairs leaders will help shape the future of Cal Poly Pomona. They will lead with compassion and they will break the mold, wrote Brown. Brown focused on many of her efforts early in her stint as provost to establish relationships with the current academic infrastructure, along with learning where CPP needed the most help. I focused my first year in stabilizing leadership and making sure we could have leadership within the colleges, which means I had to make some tough decisions and some things I could not attend to. Wow, said Brown. We had a cabinet retreat, and the cabinet agreed that the best thing the provost could do in their first year was to stabilize leadership. The loss of Brown as provost is another move by CPP administration that will add another interim title to the university. This turnover, according to Brown, ends up hurting those who are integral to any university faculty, staff, and students. Yep. It's hard to get people to move towards initiating anything if you don't know that that person is going to be there, Brown said. Yeah, exactly. The progress of the institution stagnates even with its best attempts to want to move forward. It doesn't help our faculty, staff, and students. CFA chapter president, psychology chair, Professor Nichols Van Galan explained the surprisingly turnover of Brown. Bro, I think this person is no longer the CFA president. I'm sorry, chat. I'm going to go run and get some water real quick. I will be right back. All right, we're good. Okay. So yeah, cuz I reached out, or I met with the CFA president of Cal Poly Pomona, and it is a man. I mean, it is not a man. It's a woman now, so okay. In the wake of unexpected removal of Brown and Coley refraining from divulging the reasons behind the decision, many on campus are left grappling with the lack of information about what led to another significant personnel change. For reasons we can't or don't know exists or don't for reasons we can't know or don't exist, I don't know which, it is uncertain why she is gone. You know, it is a difficult position, said Van Glan. It had been pretty uniform from the faculty I talked to. There may have been other faculty opinions. My circle isn't indefinitely large, but I know from faculty generally we find it unfortunate that she is gone. Like, this is just gossip. This is just gossip. Oh my God. Okay. So the chair, the psychology chair and CFA chapter president, Von Glan, has no idea why the provost was kicked out other than gossip. That's crazy. All right. Von Glan explained while Brown was provost, she listened to faculty and addressed the issues brought to her attention to the best of her ability. I always felt heard by Dr. Brown, Von Glan said. I always felt that she actually articulated what I was saying, like she actually understood my point, even if she didn't agree with it, either personally in her role. I can't say that for a lot of people. Von Glan, who served as union president and Senate chair last year, witnessed Brown work with fellow administrators and faculty and pointed out the absence of any apparent wrongdoing or misconduct that would warrant a firing during the middle of fall semester. Bro, Okay, yeah. So whatever it is, it was something behind the scenes that nobody knew about, or they just didn't like her and they kicked her out. That's crazy. She was working incredibly hard last year, and I know President Cooley can't say why she's dismissed Provost Brown, said Von Glenn. I understand it's a personnel matter. It's very difficult because I have heard nothing but any malfeasance or anything she has done wrong that would rise to a level of dismissal. Crazy. Cynthia Peters, the interim associate director of media relations, noted that there have been many high-level administrative transitions in the CSU, including 19 vice presidential transitions and 12 presidential transitions since 2021. That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. The CSU system is falling apart. In many cases, leaders departed from Cal Poly Pomona to assume higher level responsibilities at other institutions or retired, Peter said. Brown will return to the classroom for the first time in 8 years, but for now, she looks forward to spending time with her daughter. And okay, damn, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay. Here, let's check out her profile on Cal Poly Pomona's page. Dr. Terry Gomez was appointed provost and vice president of academic affairs in May 2024. After having served in that role on an interim basis beginning in 2023. Okay, so she's only was vice president of academic affairs and provost for less than 2 years. And now she's going to be president of an entire university. Again, I'm not saying that's anything bad. I'm just saying this is reflective of the entire hiring process, reflective of the entire candidate pool, you know? She has been a member of the Cal Poly Pomona community for nearly 25 years, starting first as a lecturer, then rising the rank to full professor in the Department of Ethnic and Women's Studies. See, that's the only thing that gives me hope right there, is that she's Ethnic and Women's Studies professor. So, you know, she can't be that bad, right? I don't know what Thomas Morales used to do, but like, you know, damn. Okay, she has served a range of administrative roles, including department chair, interim associate dean, and interim associate vice president. In 2016, Dr. Gomez was responsible for the launch of the Office of Student Success to force campus efforts as part of the CSU Graduation Initiative 2025 and 2018. I don't know what that means. These words don't make sense to me. Kellogg's Honors College, I don't know. Kellogg's is a cereal. Dr. Gomez is a nationally recognized leader for her work on student success and developing innovative programs to address the needs of diverse student populations. By developing a range of campus partnerships, support programs, academic interventions, she has led advances in student retention, persistence, and graduation with the ultimate goal of eliminating equity gaps for our most vulnerable students. Interesting. So, like, who hired her? Well, I mean, I know it was the CSU Board of Trustees, but like, what was their? Are they? This is. I feel like, you know, this is the Pope, the Catholic Church, and this is the Pope Francis. This is the Pope Francis pick. They're like, yes, Pope Francis. He was, you know, studied in ethnic studies and women's studies. He is one of the people. He is one of the Latinos of the world who can rebuild the Catholic Church. Or either that, or it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would love to have seen the other candidates, you know what I mean? But that's something we'll never see. Something we just don't know about. Here's a stupid. Okay. Like, what kind of research has she done, if any? Well, I mean, she had to. Okay. So when they say she was from the IE, where did she grow up? She should come on the stream. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We can watch a video. All right. Any minute now.
My name is Terry Gomez. I'm professor and chair of Ethnic and Women's Studies here at Cal Poly, and I've been here for 14 years. I'm not your typical faculty member. I am a first-generation college.
She said, welcome, fellow kid. Hello there, fellow kids. Oh, crap. This video is from 12 years ago. Okay, keep that in mind. This is a 12-year-old video.
Student. I am a community college transfer student, and I am the daughter of Mexican laborers who only have a third-grade education.
Damn.
So in many ways, I wasn't destined to be a professor. It wasn't necessarily in my DNA or my family background.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Who said that being a professor is in your DNA? That sounds like, I don't know why she said that. I know what she means, but it's like, that's kind of weird. Okay, there's her teaching.
The first time I met Dr. Gomez was probably at a department meeting in my first year.
No, this lady's name is Dr. Peggy Kelly. What a name.
I went around and met all the faculty in each of their department meetings. And her enthusiasm and personality just shot out compared to all others.
I was really interested in questions of democracy and equality
me too,
and
homie.
social justice.
Me
And
too.
so that is really my passion. I feel like political theory has given me these tools and this way of engaging the world.
Hell yeah. She said politics is the only real science. I think she did get her, I think she got one of her degrees in political theory. But sorry, I keep cutting her off.
Through this lens.
The project that Terry just got funded with a grant in collaboration with admissions is a transfer center. She knows what it's like to start in a university setting and not have any background as to what this is all about.
So what we're trying to do is create a transfer receptive culture at Cal Poly. And that requires that we work extensively with our local community colleges. I also have another project which is that I'm very passionate about, and that's women in prison. I teach a course along with my colleagues in the Ethnic and Women's Studies
Okay, that's a good
department
sign. That's a good sign.
at the Chino Institution for Women. And it's a women's empowerment course. It's basically intro to women's studies.
And it's this kind of work out in the community and research that they're doing with these women that informs the work they do in their classroom as well.
She's always available to her students, her office hours. Although she is a department chair, she's always there, not only for the students in the major, but also any other students that have questions for her.
I think one of the things Dr. Gomez's colleagues admire in her is her ability to speak enthusiastically, passionately, and from the heart.
Her classes they're always memorable. I always seem to learn something new in her classes, and she just has a way of connecting with students that has really made an impact on me. Most of us find like a very personal connection with her. Like we can consider her like our aunt, you know, someone who we're really close with and we feel comfortable expressing our ideas with her. We don't think that she's gonna judge us in any way, whether we agree or disagree with her. She creates an environment which is, it's safe, you know, to express our opinions and then develop them from there on.
She's just a student advocate, so the combination of the work that she does and how she brings students along with her in that work is all part of that
Bad sign, bad sign, she's left-handed.
I think it's really important to look at students from what I term a student affairs perspective. Sometimes
got that
as
Obama
faculty
left
members,
hand
we only want to
curse.
deal with them academically. And I believe student affairs is really onto something where they try to deal with students in a more holistic fashion so that you take them and try to understand them and understand the communities from which they emerge, their obstacles, their strengths, right? And so that you can really develop a mentoring relationship with students.
She inspires us to take role, go after that master's, go after that PhD, be a professor,
Hell yeah.
be a department chair,
yeah.
and that nothing is out of bounds.
Never
for us.
trust a professor. Never trust a professor that tells you to not go after a PhD. That's all I got to say.
The satisfying thing about teaching is seeing students rise to their potential, right? Seeing them dream. And I think that's why I share my story with them, because I know that if they just dream it, they can make it happen. So for me, when they achieve those milestones, I think it's extraordinary.
All right, that's positive. This is 10 years old. Deviate said, nah, good sign. Nah, I don't know. Evil people are left-handed as well. I know, I know, I know. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Sorry, can be left-handed. Yes, yes. I think Hitler was left-handed. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh man. Okay. All right. So we got about 10 more minutes until our guests come in. So let's just keep doing a little bit more research about this. Actually, let's go on to x.com. Nobody replied to this. Literally nobody replied to this. I just want to know what her first name is. It's probably, okay, if she's Latina, it's probably a very Spanish sounding name. And she's like, nope, I gotta Americanify myself. I'm gonna go with my middle name, which was probably Teresa or something like that. And she's like, nah, we're just gonna go Terry. That's my guess.
I
Oh,
am
here we
a
go. We got a little bit updated. This video is only from 6 years ago.
first generation college student, a community college student, and even though there's
Oh, she
certainly
just looks a little bit
lots
more
of years
tired.
between my educational experience and my students, I can really connect to their experience. My parents only have a third grade formal education, but they always emphasize the importance of education for our future. But they taught me something much
wait,
more
hold on, hold
valuable.
on.
And
Now we can see what type of. Oh, she's in the middle, isn't she? Right? No, I don't know. Why does she look like Eloise Gomez Reyes? Oh my God, freaking Latinos. I think she's the one in the middle.
but they taught me something much more valuable. And in Spanish, the word is
Yeah.
educación. It's really
Education.
a holistic view, a moral education. Educación becomes a real important guiding principle for me in not just my own education, but in my life's work, in what I do in this institution. I was really fortunate to have people along my path that guided me, that mentored me, and I think part of my work is just to pay that forward. When I transferred to UCLA, I came through a really wonderful, rigorous transfer program that really changed my life. I wanted to replicate that here, and we developed the Poly Transfer Program, which is a first-year.
No, why does Cal Poly Pomona have to put poly in everything, bro? Poly transfer. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. We're being silly.
Experience program for community college transfer students. Our students come in knowing that they belong here, that this is indeed a transfer institution that values the knowledge they bring here. And so I see in them a deep commitment that emerges not just from their own aspirations to get an education, but from their families who see this as transforming their opportunities. And so I think it's really important to honor that sort of legacy that our students are bringing with them. You know, when you're a first-generation college student and those graduation days come, to have my parents there.
Damn, that's so cute.
And the tears in their eyes and the deep joy of knowing they had something to do with that is something that I'll always remember. My father would often say, my goal in life is to make sure you don't work with your hands the way I do. That you're able to use your mind. I know that I've had an extraordinary opportunity, and I try to make the best of that every day and make sure that I'm doing my job and helping our students choose wisely too, and giving them the tools they need to be successful.
Crazy. All right, that was good. That was good. Who's in the background? I'm trying to study. I know, and I was thinking, I saw this video and it's from 6 years ago. I was like, damn, this was 2020, and there was clearly 2 students not social distancing.
I am in not just
right
my
there.
own education, but in
But that's just me being triggered from COVID. Oh man, okay. Damn. Oh my God. People, I forget that LinkedIn is like a social media site and that people like actually like and comment and stuff on these posts. It's hilarious. Okay. Let me give me a second here. Okay, okay. I think we're getting ready. Scandals. Yeah. Yeah, okay, for sure we will go over CFA's contract proposal. Um oh, DV8 said LinkedIn is weird from what I heard. Yeah, that's why I haven't gone on there in forever. I was like, this is supposed to be a professional space and it's just like mid-level managers just roasting uh people who they think doesn't want to work. Okay, okay, okay. Here, let me open up this room. Oh, and let me start my virtual camera. There we go. Okay. All right, all right, all right. We'll just wait here for a second. Okay, okay. All right. Okay, I think we are doing good. All right. Okay, okay, okay. And let me set up the thing here. Hey, Corey, give me just a second here to get. I can. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Oh my God. I can hear you, but chat could not hear you. So let me work on getting that because that was awesome. Okay, okay. Here we go.
I've been in many a fight and debate online regarding this freaking propaganda hatred campaign
Hatred campaign. Oh
against
boy.
Argentina. Come
No.
on now.
Okay, you have to see. I'm on the other side.
Ah!
I oh my God, I know. I'm so bad. I was contemplating taking down this banner and putting up a USA one. I was like, hey, I can't with the corruption and the everything, but
Right.
but it would break
I think
my
Norway's
Bubba's
it.
heart.
Norway's like the only clean option.
Yes, yes. So that's cool. You're a sports person?
Very much so.
What's your
Yeah.
sports team?
I don't really like I played a lot of fantasy football growing up, so that kind of takes away your team loyalty for individual performances. But I did my undergrad at UCLA. I am rather a psychotic UCLA fan, like to the point where I have a tattoo. My mom made me a superhero costume that is in the UCLA Hall of Fame on a mannequin.
What?
It's
Damn.
crazy. Yeah,
UCLA royalty.
I was like there were many a times when my friends would have to pull me off of an almost fight with some SC fans. Like it was bad. It was very
The
bad. But
the USC?
it's helping me in my social activism. So
Heck yeah. All right. Well, let me get you a proper introduction here. Your name
oh,
is Corey
it's
Razi.
pronounced rosé,
Rose.
like the
Okay.
wine, but it's Dutch spelling. I know it's
Dutch
a mess.
spelling. Okay. Corey Rose. You are, as we're waiting for Dr. Corrigan to get in here. Are you a doctor too? Sorry, I want
I
to give you.
am not. I
Okay.
am not. I am a 26-year lecturer
Wow.
that
So are you
had
trying to be a doctor?
no. At this point, closing in on my 50th birthday, I'm good.
Okay. Heck yeah. That's cool. I mean, so you
The
lecture.
financial incentives, like the cost benefit analysis, does not work in that in the favor of pursuing a PhD at this time.
I see. I see. No, I understand. Okay, but
So
real
I'm the
quick,
lecturer rep at CSUSB. So I'm the one who goes and fights the fight on behalf of all the lowly, forgotten,
the
lecturers.
lecturers.
Yep.
So like without asking how much you guys averagely make, how much do you guys like usually make?
Oh, so the latest BOT meeting got disrupted, so I wasn't able to give my public comment. But so my husband is a public school teacher,
Okay.
and so they just got a COLA increase in his district, and I looked at the salary schedule and I wanted to throw up because I've been a full-time lecturer for over 25 years.
Mhm.
I make less than what a first year high school geography teacher would make
No.
in his average paying district. Yes.
No.
With the same criteria, like with a master's, yeah, crazy, crazy. And Millie is going to, her comms team is gonna, put out propaganda saying we're greedy. Obviously, with MAGA, we're in an era of,
Wait, I'm
you know,
sorry.
uh,
You
so,
said
so sorry.
Millie. That's Mildred, right?
Yes,
Mildred
yes, yes,
Garcia.
yes.
All right, I got to get on with the nicknames.
Yeah, $1 Million Millie.
Millie.
And so, I mean, we're in an era where there's a huge attack on, higher ed and this demonization of like all of us brainwashing students. It's crazy. But she's going to put comms out there saying we're greedy
Yeah.
for our ask.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, like, no, and these public school teachers get their guaranteed raises because they have it negotiated in their contract that they have actual step increases every year. So I'm talking first year.
Yeah.
First year. Now
That's
in
first
Realty
step.
Unified, in Realty Unified, a first year at the last column is going to be making over 82,000 a year.
Wow.
Tenure in 2 years, and they
Wow.
pay nothing out of pocket for their health care.
Damn. I
Yeah.
mean, the healthcare thing, that's good. That's
Yeah.
really, really good.
Right.
So,
So when Millie starts off with the we're greedy, it's like a big get the fuck out of here, like with
yeah.
that nonsense. What are
Damn.
you talking about? I know. Yep. So it's for the love of the students for sure.
The love of the
For
students, I'm here for that.
sure. It sure as hell is not for the pay.
Not for the pay.
Or for the
That's
respect. Or the job security, which
or
doesn't
the
exist.
job security. Hey, TC, Dr. Corrigan, welcome in.
Hey, good to see you,
Hey,
Angela.
TC.
Hi, Corey.
Sorry, I was just talking with Corey, and I found out that she's not a doctor, and I always try to use everyone's appropriate that's a pronoun, right? Yeah.
Title.
Okay. The title, excuse me. So, but welcome in, Dr. Thomas Corrigan. Let's do proper introductions again. So, Corey, why don't you go ahead for everyone watching? We got about 6 people in chat.
Sure. So my name is Corey Rose. I've been a part-time, as they call it, full-time lecturer for CSUSB since 2001.
Wow.
So I'm the longest serving educator in my department by a mile. And I'm the lecturer representative. I'm also on the bargaining team, and so I'm kind of representing the system of educators at large, all Unit 3, but it also as the lecturer rep, the concerns of the most exploited educator population, maybe in the state.
In the state. Wow. All right, Dr. Corrigan.
Yeah, Dr. Corrigan, TC. You can also.
Sorry.
I like Professor Corrigan because it captures my work. It captures Professor captures Corey's work. We're faculty, and I'm our communications coordinator for California for CFA San Bernardino's CFA's San Bernardino chapter.
Mhm.
And CFA represents 29,000 faculty, coaches, counselors, and librarians across the Cal State system. And so I have been at Cal State San Bernardino since 2012, and I'm a faculty member in our Department of Communication and Media. So.
Sweet. Thank you so much for both of you coming on, making the time for me today. We have a lot to talk about. But first and foremost, little tradition here on the stream. And actually, I have to give a special shout out to Professor Corrigan. I wouldn't have this entire channel if it wasn't for your class. So shout out to you. I, started this as a project in one of your introduction classes, and I just continued it, and here we are. I'm at over 100 subscribers on YouTube now. So
So happy you've launched it and stuck with it. Yeah, it was great to have you in class. That was the news ecosystems course, right?
Actually, I did it in it was like media landscapes or something like
Oh,
that.
media institutions.
Institutions,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Started
cool.
that
Yeah.
there, and then I was like, I got to take another class with this dude. He's knows everything, and so I did, yeah. And I wish I could have taken more classes with you, but I'm done. I'm done with CSUSB,
Yeah.
graduated and everything. So,
Hey, now we're learning from you here. So
so real quick, tradition on the stream is, where are you guys from in the Inland Empire? If you're not from the Inland Empire, why do you love the Inland Empire so much? That's keeping you here.
Corey, you want to go?
Oh gosh. Okay. So originally I'm from the San Gabriel Valley. I moved to the Inland Empire really just for, my family. My ex-husband was from the Inland Empire from Corona. And so since 2001, I've been here. Since I started at San Bernardino, I've stayed. I really, what I love most about the Inland Empire and our campus in general is the ethnic diversity. A couple decades ago, our campus ranked top 10 in the nation for cultural diversity. And I think that that's just an amazing asset, for our students, for our faculty. And that's what kept me here. I knew I wanted to raise my family in an area that had a high level of ethnic diversity.
Yeah, big agree. Big agree.
Yeah. I'm from Southwest Florida, a little south of Tampa. And it used to be a purple state when I lived there. It's that's how long ago I lived there. So, but got did my bachelor's and master's at Florida State, and then went to Penn State in State College, Pennsylvania for my doctorate. And I got a job here at CSUSB in 2012. I love the Inland Empire. It's a really dynamic place with so many interesting issues and developments that, as somebody who like studies and loves news, it's a fascinating place to live and to look at. But I also just think it's just beautiful here. I used to live up in the San Bernardino Mountains, and the ability to be near the ability to get to the snow, the desert, and the beach within an hour is pretty
Absolutely.
remarkable here.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
That's our California tax.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Thank you for indulging me in that. It's my massive collection of Inland Empire influential people, like yourselves. So let's talk about the CFA. Let's talk about previously, before you guys came on stream, I was looking into President Morales's replacement, his exit package. And apparently he's going to be kept on as a consultant, but not only for our school, just a consultant for the entire CSU system. Kind of sounds like he's just going to be a recruiter for international students. But that's just my own opinion. So tell me what's up, guys. What's got you guys going?
Yeah. Well, I'll jump in here, Corey. So, at the beginning of 2025, President Morales announced that he would be resigning from his position as president of the university. But it was also happening right in the midst of some major scandals and developments. Some of which are it's hard to keep track of how many
there's so many
there have been
scandals.
over the past year. At the beginning of 2025, there was this huge audit that came out about the housing departments being deep in debt, losing $8 million a year, and actually needing to, the university had borrowed money from the student union, as well as the university's general fund. The student union loan was actually improper, didn't follow
wow.
CSU policy. And so that resulted in a whistleblower investigation. And so there was that. Right around that time, the CSUSB had raised a bunch of money to launch a master's program for physician's assistants, which is
Yes.
a desperately needed program in the region. Booming health industry. We need to be graduating folks with that are physician's assistants in the region, and that program did not secure accreditation, and that was in no small part because the university didn't hire enough faculty to meet the accreditation requirements. It was flagged by faculty, and their concerns were not addressed, and the program didn't get accredited. It's wild. It was, I think, $26 million that had been raised, including state and federal funds for that program.
Well, and constant
Yeah.
warnings being ignored.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
yes, the union, the faculty had been warning the provost and the president time and time again that, look, you can't skip these steps. You're not going to get accreditation if you are not going about this the right way. And they were ignored. Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. The accreditation body came and went, sorry, like,
Yeah.
no, this is not something that you can just skirt. And so it was not without ample warning with plenty of time to course correct.
Yeah.
That's what makes it, I think, even more egregious.
100%. Yeah. And, at that same time, we also had the president and the provost quietly raise course caps and minimums. So both
Wait, yeah, what are course caps and
sorry,
minimums? That's okay.
the maximum number of students that can be in a course, as well as the minimum number of students that need to be enrolled in a course in order for it not to be canceled, right? And so they quietly raised those across campus. It was kind of interesting. There was actually a memo drafted that was supposed to go out to all faculty, and it was never circulated to all faculty. It was sort of quietly pushed through deans and chairs, and ultimately, implemented in classes. It's had, really devastating consequences. For students, it means there are more students in your classes, right? And less dedicated time that faculty have with any individual students. But it also means that we've had, widespread course section cancellations, right? And that means, it's harder to get the courses you need to graduate on time, those sorts of things. And so, for especially for our part-time lecturers, it's been really devastating, because those course cancellations mean that there are fewer courses available for folks to teach. And Corey, how many lecturers have you all lost in your
I mean, well, we've lost dozens and dozens, and in my department in particular, I'm in the geography environmental studies department, and I'm the senior most lecturer there, but I'm still a lecturer, so I kind of know my place on the totem pole. And at the beginning of last year, there was a course of mine that wasn't going to run. And so I said, oh, well, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, take the course from a different lecturer in the department then, because of seniority. And with no notice, as if it was Thanos snapping his finger, I looked around and I said, where the hell are all the lecturers in my department? What happened? We had like 7. We had 7 the year before. And no notice, nobody tells us anything. They're just gone. And
What?
so now I'm the only remaining lecturer. And because we're part-time lecturers per the contract, we can be laid off without going through official layoff procedures.
I see.
So these are stats that are never kept. So when you hear admin patting themselves on the back saying, "Hey, we've had no layoffs, aren't we great?" It's like, sorry, but what the fuck are you talking about? There's scores of lecturers that that just disappeared, that are
Wow.
just gone, and their names aren't even mentioned. There's nothing, even no notification. They're just gone. And so that has been a constant. And mind you, our campus, as well as other campuses, went through these ridiculous austerity measures. The layoff of lecturers, non-layoff layoff of lecturers, the increased course caps, the fewer sections being offered. We went through all of these austerity measures because we were told the budget was going to be cut. And yet we got full funding last year. We fought for it. We contacted our legislators and members of the government, and we ensured full funding for the CSU, despite us going some campuses up to 10% of austerity measures, and we were told what, 7 TC, that we had to make 7% cuts across the board, or else whatever. We made those cuts, and yet we got full funding. So they were completely unnecessary. And now that we have increased funding for the next budget cycle, they're not wanting to hire those people back, go back, on the course cap increases. They're wanting to make further cuts. It's just absolute insanity.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit. It's such gaslighting, and they expect us to just eat this shit and believe it.
Yeah. And at the same time that, while they were saying this about the budget on the one hand, right, they were simultaneously giving big raises to campus presidents, right? And so, the chancellor, the board of trustees, the CSU, they will cry poor when it comes to faculty, staff, in this case students, right? Because it's whether your course makes or how many students are in the classroom, but they're always able to find the funding for increasing salaries and benefits, and housing allowances and car allowances for top executives. So.
Well, and don't forget, there's a tuition increase imposed on students for 5 straight years. So there was an increase in revenue as well. It's just absolute bonkers.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't make sense, but
those course caps and course enrollment maximums and minimums, that was a huge deal. At the very end of the spring, the university, the campus president, Tomas Morales, pushed through an increase in student fees.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was 150% increase in student fees. And typically when we're talking about funding that supports what are called instructionally related activities. So it's it's museum, it's the it's the newspaper, student newspaper. It's in no small part athletics, which has been whose budget has been also under audit as well. Typically when student fees are raised for those sorts of things, it goes through a student referendum, right? We're coming out of this America 250, and people have been reflecting on history, right? We're talking about taxation without representation, right? This is students having their fees raised on them, and typically you have a referendum. Instead, what President Morales did is work through what's known as an alternative consultation process. They basically circulated a survey to students, and it, there was a gift
you
card.
mean the ones that we all ignore because our emails are jam-packed? Yeah.
100%, ours too, right? But there's this email circulated to students, participate in the survey, get a gift card, and it basically, had students talk about which activities they value, right? But not about the fact that their fees are about to be raised, right? Or
Yeah.
whether they think, a significant portion should be going to athletics, right? The issue itself was completely obfuscated, right? And so, anyways, yeah, so that was a big development at the end of the spring. But then, throughout this year, we've also had this huge gender harassment and
Oh my God.
retaliation
Yeah.
case, right? Which has been, in the news. Cal Matters has been covering it,
Yeah.
San Bernardino Sun, LA Times, et cetera, right? And so, it is it's a huge case. It's, in last fall, a trial concluded for one of the plaintiffs,
Yeah.
Dr. Rogers, who had, experienced harassment, including, shouting,
It was like berating
from
or something.
former dean out at the Palm Desert campus. And a jury had awarded $6 million to her,
Yeah.
right? So, a lot of times it's talked about as allegations this, allegations that, right? A jury ruled that, it was a $6 million in a $6 million lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
The CSU subsequently settled that case and another case that was brought by Dr. Weber. Both of them, when they had experienced this harassment and discrimination as administrators, as management at the university, right? She had reported gender-based pay disparities.
Yeah.
And both of them were basically told, resign or you'll be fired, right? And Dr. Rogers resigned, Dr. Weber was fired.
Wow. Not even a
And
chance to just like suck it up and
Well, not even that, but our president and our provost both testified under oath that, yeah, we didn't do shit.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah.
But
No,
they
we didn't
settled out
report
of
it.
court.
Yeah, we didn't report it. I didn't feel like we had to report it. Why did we have to report it?
yeah, the
Like,
provost
and they're
described,
mandatory reporters.
yeah, the provost had described it as low-grade bias, right? Obviously a jury
What?
disagreed, right? But
Low grade bias? What does that mean? I'm sorry, that's just
yeah,
throwing me
so
for a loop.
there's a crazy irony here, right? So this past year, faculty across the university were sent these letters of reprimand
What?
for because they had fallen behind on mandatory trainings, and we are inundated with these mandatory trainings, in no small part because the university has screwed up in the past on
And it's like
Title IX,
collective punishment now.
Title IX related and civil rights related stuff, right? And so we have to do these mandatory trainings, and so lots of us were sent these letters of reprimand. But the irony is that they clearly should have been paying more attention to whether the administrators at the university were were following policy correctly
Yeah.
themselves, right? And you can make a really compelling case that that this stuff all could have been nipped in the bud had folks followed policy, had folks listened to faculty. If you go back to 2016, we had this climate survey that found that the university had problems with bullying, favoritism, retaliation, and just an erosion of shared governance since President Morales had arrived in 2012. And over the subsequent year, there weren't actions taken in response to the recommendations of that climate survey, and it led eventually to no confidence votes from the faculty senate and from the wider faculty in 2017. During the trial, President Morales testified that he didn't act on those recommendations, right? And they were important ones. Anti-bullying policy, for instance, that may have been able to nip these problems in the bud, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really, I mean, it's an outrage. It is it has huge financial, reputational, and human harms, right? And yeah, so this was another big scandal that has unfolded here over the past year, although the underlying behavior is from a few years ago. So.
And I think the bigger, issue is that our campus is not alone in this level of corruption and, sort of the turning a blind eye to just horrible, like injustices like this when committed by people in higher positions of power. And there's this, I think the hypocrisy is, Millie, the chancellor and the BOT keep claiming there's no money, there's no money, there's no money, austerity, austerity, austerity. But when it comes to just cutting ties with a horrifically toxic, not just admin, but, not just one administrator, but several, because there's been other people under him that have also left and been allowed to leave in good standing. I think the bigger problem is that, we have a system whereby in those instances, the money is rather like monopoly money. Oh, well, we're going to pay him $350,000. We're also going to pay him to travel the world and collect another year of pension credit. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And he's gone. So you guys don't have to worry because he's gone. We got rid of him. But they're never held accountable. They're always able to fall up. He's got a freaking statue on our campus like he's some hero.
Wait, no, there's a Morales statue?
Yes.
I'd never seen this. I just knew
it's new. It's new.
Legacy fountain.
And they're blowing smoke as if he is this great person that was able to resign, a hero and in good standing, or retire rather in good standing. And nobody wants to take accountability because it's easier to just throw money at it and say, well, he's gone now, problem solved. It's like, no, he's been rewarded. You rewarded him for this horrific tenure.
Yeah.
And rather than take accountability, because nobody wants to go through the potential lawsuits. He's got money. I'm sure he's got lawyers. If they don't grant him this huge benefit, he might sue, defamate, who knows?
Yeah.
But rather than actually take the high road, they're allowing these powerful men to simply fall up.
Yeah.
And that is a benefit that is completely unattainable for 99% of workers, right?
Yeah.
If any of us were to do anything remotely close, we would be fired and left in shame.
Yeah.
He's allowed to resign or to retire a hero. And the speech that Millie gave during the Board of Trustees meeting was insane. Insane. He single-handedly came to our campus, took a campus that was in the black financially, ran it into the ground,
oh my God.
and like caused chaos and destruction everywhere he went. And yet he's given a year to travel the world for free, not just for free, but hey, here's $350,000 as well. Have fun.
Yeah.
What? It's fucking madness.
Yeah.
And I think, it's worth keeping in mind, like this didn't have to happen, right? The CSU has this executive transition program, right? Because gosh, we got to make sure that they land on their feet, right? But the executive transition program is basically once a president or top executive resigns, right? If they are in good standing, they can get transition pay and a transition appointment to do work for a period of time as they move into another role in the CSU, right? And Chancellor Garcia, characterized him in as being in good standing, not just that, but exemplary performance here at CSUSB. But that the eligibility for that program is an extraordinarily low bar, right? what makes you eligible for that program? Were you not is basically were you not removed by the university
Are you breathing?
for having broken, a law, right? And so at the same time, eligibility is not entitlement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was up to the chancellor. The chancellor had the opportunity, not to award, $344,000 in transition pay, and this appointment. But she gave it the green light. No board of trustees member
Uh,
had any comments or
that's crazy.
raised an objection when it was presented to the board, and here we are.
Oh, but
So
it's okay, TC, because she single-handedly solved sexism by giving us a new female president.
A new Latina female president.
Right. So we have a female president, so it's all solved. No more gender discrimination ever.
So, quick question. If you have an employee that is a $12 million liability, and probably a little bit more than $12 million, liability, uh, that would be grounds for firing, in any terms, I forget what the word is when you don't have a union, of the, go ahead.
No, I think that that's exactly why he's leaving.
He's
I
leaving?
think
So
that
this is the cheaper version?
well, because this was a long process finally
Yeah.
coming to the settlement. And so I firmly believe, because I have, experience in my family of somebody having these exact benefits, is you have a very high powerful position, you fuck up royally.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than fire the person and again risk a lawsuit, you tell them, look, we're going to give you a way out. You better fucking take it. And you'll be left in good standing, but this shit is going to hit the fan. So here's your way out. Go right off in the sunset, announce your resignation or your retirement,
Mm-hmm.
and everything will be great. And you can just fucking leave. And then we'll be done with it, and we don't have to go through the drama of like really forcing you out. 100%, I think
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Yeah, so, because I'm just imagining, conversations in the background, like obviously these people are friends, I wouldn't imagine them not being friends. But it's like, there's all this, it's set up in a democratic sort of way, right? Having a board with different people who have different interests, right? And we're supposed to, or they're supposed to, make decisions in benefit for, I would imagine, education, right? Or at the very least, making sure that the various campuses aren't in the red, right? If you can make money for the school, that would be probably really great. I'm thinking in a capitalist type of view, right?
Well, and I think it becomes more important, especially when you have these corrupt people in the highest positions of power, to have yes men underneath.
Yeah.
And so you start this cycle of just promoting, wholly unqualified, both, actually and sort of, morally, these flawed characters, because you don't want somebody underneath you who is going to be a whistleblower or who is going to hold you accountable. You want somebody that'll be a yes man or yes woman that will do your dirty work and who probably has some dirt themselves, because then, you have kind of a Cuban Missile Crisis, like a standoff, where, okay, well, you're not going to tell on me because shit, I got stuff on you. So you end up having these, increasingly corrupt, ill-qualified people in these highest positions of power, and the people that could bring about meaningful change will never ascend.
Yeah.
Because the person deciding that needs somebody dirty.
Yeah.
Like it's just a cycle as old as time, and it's horrible.
It blows my mind how much this parallels our federal government, right?
Yes.
And it seems like, I know a lot of people. I'm 33 years old, right? So I remember when Trump took office in 2016. I actively voted against him, right? Not a lot of students on campus can actually say that, right? So I from what I'm getting, it's like Thomas Morales came in 2012, right? The 2010s area. We've had this entire shift, like at the federal level, in our society, where we're just okay with corruption, I guess, or we're just like, our guy is doing it and he's gonna promise us stuff at the end, so I'm okay with the corruption. I don't know. It blows my mind how just like unaware, maybe because like we were dealing with so much stuff in like 2024, 2025, as we were having the ICE raids on campus and stuff, and there was just so much stuff that students were having to deal with that, things like this seem like they just don't matter to people.
Well,
So
yeah, the back
please tell
rooms,
me why.
the shroud of secrecy that just enveloped this admin, our campus admin is what allowed them to get away with it. People don't realize on the whole, I know as a lecturer, I represent lecturers, they get to campus, they teach their class, and then they get the hell out because they've probably got to go to another campus and teach another course. So they don't know what is going on. And if something isn't right in front of your face, you're not paying attention to it. So these backroom decisions, stuff that's done out of the public eye, you don't realize until the shit hits the fan and you go, wait, how did this happen? And then you start, reverse engineering, going backwards, and you go, oh, okay, these forensics are really disturbing. What the hell happened? And that was, essentially his whole tenure was done in that manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is we see this sort of thing unfolding right now too. We've had a new president that was just recently announced, right? But the presidential search process is a completely opaque process, right?
Yeah.
There are, I think, 18 members of the presidential search committee, which is headed up by the chancellor. But there's only, I think, 3 faculty members that are part of
Wow.
that. 2 or 3 faculty members that are part of that. And there was one open forum for our university where faculty, staff, students, shared I believe, Corey, you described it there as a dumpster fire that we were experiencing here at CSUSB. And there's, one open forum, and then there's this closed process, right? And I think that's only for campus presidents that they get that.
The candidates are not made public.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for other positions on campus, you'll have an open forum, right, where these folks answer questions from the campus community, so we can understand who they are, understand their temperament, where they're coming from, that sort of thing, how they deal with things. And you don't get that with presidents in the CSU system during the search process, right? So, there are aspects of our new president's resume that I think are really attractive, and are a reason for some cautious optimism, right? She's from the Inland Empire, right? She went to Valley College, and then went to UCLA. She's a former faculty member, right? Started her career as a lecturer. And so, there's reasons to be optimistic, but at the same time, it's not as though we got to hear from her or from the other candidates about who they are and what their vision is for the campus and how they're going to navigate these the situation that they're walking into, right? Which is really is not good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and this is, these are sort of the mechanisms by which these things perpetuate themselves, right?
So, but
And
like
I mean, a ham sandwich would have been better than what we had. So, the bar was really low to
right.
outperform
Yeah.
morality.
Yeah.
But it's going to be crucial because it's like, she's coming in and she might be infinitely better, but there's still a lot of anger and a lot of healing over the, just the aftermath of his tenure. And so we're going to have to meet with her and really convey just the absolute level of disgust for this man, because again, at the BOT it was, oh, he's going to be hanging around to be an advisor to the new president. No, what? Nobody wants his advice on anything. Like, he needs to go away and disappear, go on your trips, do not come back, do not advise. Like, we need to make it clear to her that, hey, any advice he gives you, you completely ignore it. Like, there's nothing of value he's gonna tell you.
I was gonna say that when Professor Corrigan was talking about how you guys interview or have forums for people, you guys may not have had the forum for the new president, but it sounds like the board of trustees sure did, and they got their pick, right? At the end of the day, this was their pick, right? So I would imagine they would pick someone who's going to benefit them. But
and they're university presidents are not masters of the universe, right? They still have to operate within this structure, with a campus over in Golden Shore, at Long
Yes.
Beach, with more than $100 million budget. More than, I think, 5 campuses within the CSU
Campus.
system, right? That and she's answerable to the chancellor and to the board, and so it's not as though a new president comes along and they have free reign
yeah,
to create the campus that we need to be,
yeah,
right? And so we need to be applying pressure at multiple levels.
Right, and their ability to destroy a campus, that power is granted to them by the chancellor.
Mhm.
So she's the supreme enabler. So
Yeah.
all of the stuff that Morales did was because the chancellor and the trustees allowed it, and not
Mhm.
only allowed it but rewarded it.
yeah,
In the end,
yeah,
which is the most disturbing.
yeah. I was gonna ask, so if now that we have a new president coming on, yeah, you guys will have to fill her in. What if she doesn't want to be filled in? What if she just wants to be like, this is new start. I got my own eyes. We're gonna just reap. The new the clocks or the reset the counter, right? And that to me is kind of worrisome because I mean that's what I would kind of do if I got into a new job, but again, I've never worked a job
Right. I
that
think
high, right?
she said, didn't she, TC, say that she, one of her first things was to enact some sort of 100 days of conversations or something,
Oh, okay.
something along those lines to basically, hear people out. So that's, again, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And we have tools, in our contract, as a union. We can request and need to be granted a monthly meeting with the president, and so we're gonna make sure that we have her ear, right? And but at the same time, we're also gonna be paying close attention, right? And when there are things that are not in support of quality working conditions and student learning conditions, right? And that undermine those things, we're going to bring it to her attention and to her administration's attention, and if necessary, we will make sure that legislators and the press and the public know too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the way that you hold power to account.
Yeah, our campus union team has no problem being very annoying to admins. So if I mean, really, even if shit's going great, we're still gonna make our presence known at every possible opportunity. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'd behoove her to act accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the name of the game with unions. I was recently talking with Teamsters 1932, and they did a practice strike, right? And I was like, oh, just so they know what it looks like when an actual strike happens, or getting the members into that mode, get them a little bit more, passionate about the things. Are you guys where are you guys at in your contract? Are you guys going to be renegotiating soon or
We're right in the middle
right
of
in the
it right now.
middle? Tell me
Yeah, so
about it.
we started 16 months ago
Oof.
with reopening basically the entire contract, so 30 plus articles. And the first thing they did, because remember, it's in their best interest to delay all of this.
Yeah.
So the first thing that the CSU did was essentially go against our request to have open bargaining. We wanted to be able to allow members to come in and view the actual back and forth. And that's not unprecedented. We had open bargaining sessions the last time around. And the CSU said, no, we don't like this. And so we kept like pressing. So for a good, oh my God, I want to say 6 months,
Wow.
we were at a standstill just over ground rules for bargaining. We couldn't even pass any proposals. So then we got to the point where we're like, okay, the perp charges were filed. It was not going to be found in our favor. So we said, we're gonna drop that because we need to get to the table. We lost things out of our other contract because they expired. So we needed to get back. So we did some changes. The last bargaining session, when we went on strike for that one day, the bargaining team was much, much smaller, and they were all appointed. And there were a lot of us, myself, TC included, who were not happy that the strike ended after one day. This was a Monday, torrential rain for 12 hours, and we were rearing to go for Tuesday, Wednesday, however long. This was before we even had a strike fund, so we were motivated. And for it to be called off with no, ask of us, it wasn't like a poll went out saying, "Hey, do you want to continue?" It was just decided we're accepting this TA, and
Wow.
we went, "What the hell?" And so there's a lot of us that were upset. And so that brought about some changes. The bargaining team was expanded to include elected representatives from each campus.
Okay.
So that was a huge improvement, and to include more lecturers on the bargaining team. And so when we first got there, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd never been on a bargaining team before, and it was just me kind of ranting, being a loudmouth. I didn't
Yeah.
care. But there was a lot of us like that. And so there's a lot of us that were like, this was some bullshit. Like, what?
It's what
But
we do best, right?
this needs to change. And so we put together a list of proposals on important, articles that it's the most progressive asks that we've ever attempted.
Can I jump in
And
real quick?
yeah,
Sorry,
go.
I just want to mention, like, one of the other developments that came out of folks wanting to wanted to push management this time around, was that we created article committees, right, where rank and file members talked about the challenges that we're facing around salary, workload, appointments, the full contract, and and identified what changes need to be made to improve our working conditions and pay, et cetera, in these areas. And the product is a set of proposals that it's the best set of proposals I've seen in my nearly 15 years here. And it's just a reflection of our union really leaning into democratizing things so that we can improve our position at the bargaining table. Creating those, expanding the bargaining team to include folks like Corey from each campus, right? We were
Yeah.
like, hey, we want our bulldog there, right?
Yeah.
And and we appreciate all the work you're doing there. Creating a strike fund. There are big things that have happened that are really important in putting us in a position to to negotiate and secure the best contract we can this time around. So
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most important message for those that are still kind of wounded from the last time around, who may not understand that these changes took place. Because I can completely understand, faculty or lecturers deciding like, oh, this shit again, like, great bargaining. I wasn't heard last time, and I wasn't happy with the product, so why should I have any faith in this? And I think probably the most important thing for them to know is, look, this time around, your voices are on the team. The major dissenters, the people that were pissed last time around are now, in large numbers on the bargaining team, and they are shouting to the rooftops about wanting this, not standing for this, wanting to schedule, action at these times. So and I think that's probably, that's an important message that we just need to keep hammering home to people that are probably just too busy to really keep track of everything that's going on. That, hey, as pissed as you are, there are people equally pissed from that time around that are now in the position on that bargaining team to make these demands. And just on our campus alone, we had great people in our union, on our union team last go around, but the people that are there now are like, we have other campuses talking about like, oh my God, San Bernardino, they're crazy. Like shit, they will do and say whatever. Oh my God, they do not give a fuck. And it's true. Like we do things and they're like, holy moly. Like I wish I could tell my members that, but nope, you know. So yeah, we needed more of those sort of hot-blooded, you know, pissed members to join and to really become active, you know, at the higher ends of our union leadership, and which is good. It's a great thing to see. It doesn't mean that CSU is any more, you know, willing to negotiate. I mean, their bargaining team is as much a, you know, sort of stalwart assholes as they've ever been, which is crazy. You know, the governor put forth a budget that has immense increases to the CSU funding, and
Yeah.
they're still trying to blow smoke up our ass that like, oh well, budget crisis. We're like, what are you talking about, dude? You're like wiping your sweat with
Yeah.
$100 bills, telling us there's no money. Like it's so
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
mean, no money for thee, but money for me, right? So,
Right, like, oh, we've got to take our caviar lunch break now. We'll resume bargaining in a minute. Oh shit, there's no money. Sorry, times are tough. Like, what are you talking about? It's so tone deaf. It's like
yeah.
insane. Ugh.
Corey, what are we
Um,
bargaining for?
Oh my gosh. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, all the articles are open. There's obviously like kind of a core package that that we did. We took pulse checks on like what are the absolute must-haves. And it was overwhelming. Salary always, you know,
Always, yeah.
salary is a big one. And appointment workload is another big one. And then you know, academic freedom is huge because
Mm,
they are attempting to
mhm.
actually roll back our academic freedoms. We're asking for increases to it and more protections. They're actually wanting to roll it back and say like, oh well, you know, we want you to only talk about things, you know, that are important to your actual class and
Mm.
that content, and don't veer off, and you know, like craziness, like absolute insanity what they're attempting. So we want to have a standalone article for AI,
Awesome.
you know,
Awesome, yeah.
protecting humans. Who would have thought such a
Oh
radical
gosh.
notion?
Yeah.
And they're saying no.
Because
What?
they're paying for AI.
This
We
right?
st
This
we
makes
still
me,
have Chat GPT
yeah.
EDU, right?
It's crazy.
Sorry,
So
I forgot to mention that in the list of scandals over the past,
yeah. Yeah,
year
yeah,
plus.
yeah. The imposition of Chat GPT. So we want a standalone article. They're saying no. We said screw that. We made no. We haven't cracked or bent on
Mhm.
any of our proposals. So that's why we are at impasse now, which I'm very proud of. Like it would
Mhm.
have been very easy to be like, okay, fine. None of them. We have settled on none of them. So no TAs on any of the articles. So they said no to that. For workload, this is a huge one for both tenure track and lecturers. So most reputable institutions give tenure track because it's in their job description.
Yeah.
Give them units or you know, release time for service and for research.
Oh, yes.
They have to do research.
Yeah, not just teach
Has
classes, right?
our campus has decided after the Q2S transition, the quarter semester transition, you will get 3 units for service and that's it. And nothing for research. So you're
Real
required
quick,
to teach. Sorry.
explain a unit to me. Is it
So a
the
unit.
course
So for
units?
example, it roughly corresponds to that. So say you have a 3-unit course. A full-time load is considered 15 units.
Yes.
Now, how those units are divvied up, you might have classes that are 2 units, 1 unit, labs, whatever, but 15 is your full load.
Yeah.
So tenure track are given 3 units for service,
So
right?
basically
Service,
you have like one free class that you would be teaching, but
right.
you do research on your own.
Right.
Well,
Most places will give an additional 3 for research.
Ah.
So then you're only forced to teach the equivalent of 3 3-unit classes to be considered full-time. And then the other is your research that is very time consuming, and your service, which is equally time consuming, right? Our campus doesn't have that. They say you get the 3 for service and sorry, research, figure it out. and
Oh,
you're teaching four classes, so you're teaching 12 units. The problem with that is you are now, years have gone by where you have effectively gotten free labor,
yeah.
because tenure track is forced under their job title to do research. They can't just say, well, you're not paying me, I'm not doing the research. But they're doing the research for free because they are not being compensated for research. That's a major problem. And so we're asking that you go to what's called the 3-3, which is you'll get 3 units for service and 3 units for research.
Sounds
It seems reasonable.
yeah.
But the effect that that has on lecturers is that it will open courses for lecturers to teach. We're not asking for a 3-3. I'm a lecturer. I get
Yeah.
it. We teach, we don't have the service requirement, at least most don't. And we also don't have the research requirement, but it'll open courses up to, save some of our jobs. So it is equally important for lecturers as it is for tenure track. But tenure track is facing major burnout over this because they are being asked to do increasing loads of work for free.
Yep.
And so when you talk to tenure track, and the odd part is that there's some campuses that for whatever reason have a 3-3. It's not going to stay for long because as soon as their president sees how much money how many pennies they're able to save by exploiting tenure track on a 4-4, that campus is going to change too. So we need to have across the board 3-3. It's only fair. This isn't about, oh, tenure track doesn't want to teach. It's about, hey, tenure track have been providing free labor for years in the form of uncompensated research.
Yeah.
That's the key.
If I can just,
yes.
Corey,
Oh,
you
sorry.
mentioned-
Yeah. Let
no,
me
no,
let the
it's all right.
tenure track talk to this.
No. I just want to add one thing. So, we've talked about a couple issues, and they're interrelated. So, one is that we're teaching a 4-4, so 4 courses in the fall, 4 courses in the spring, and then you've got 3 units for service, nothing for research, right? But at the same time, I mentioned earlier, right, our class sizes are exploding,
Yeah.
right? And so, you'll have courses that used to be 28 students that are now 35, right? Well, do the math. What's that mean? That means that you're really teaching a 5-5 without research, and you still got the service
I mean,
responsibility.
the 28 to the 35 is being very nice.
Oh no! Oh yeah,
that's 25 to 50.
Yeah, that's just that. I'm just doing one with a nice clean clean math to it, right? And what happens, like, because you eventually you got to produce the research if you want to get tenure, promotion, or retention, right? At those key moments in your career, right? But if you don't have the time, what do? Right? You got 2 options. One is that you steal time from your family, right? You work all weekend. You wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like I do, right? You work well into the night. You miss your kids' recitals and baseball games or whatever it happens to be, right? That's one option, and that sucks, and no one should be put in that position. The other option is that you steal time from your students.
Yeah.
Right. And it's you got to find the time somewhere, right? And if you're sitting there saying, hey, I can't do this where I'm compromising my family over this arrangement, I'm gonna degrade the learning experience in my class to make sure that I can publish and avoid perishing, right? In terms of my career, right?
I see.
To be able to produce the research that you're required to produce, but you're not provided the time to do, right? And the response that we often get from administrators are, oh, there's a bunch of reassigned time that's allocated to faculty for this thing and that thing. What they're usually talking about is work that faculty need to do for coordinating a graduate program, right? Or there's some sort of
totally
really,
outside the purview of regular service or research.
there's some sort of really intensive project that the university needs help on because they've cut back on staff in so many areas, right? That they need us to sustain the university, right? So they say, here's a reassignment for this thing, but that frees up no time for research, right? Which again is a job requirement for tenure line faculty. And when those course enrollments are raised, right, again, that just means that you get lecturers who are not reassigned, right? Or sorry, not do not get their assignments for the upcoming term, right? So it's bad all around, right?
Yeah.
It's bad for students, it's bad for faculty, it's bad for society because we're not producing the research that is part of the rationale for the university existing in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And then we, have to turn to, beg for money from private philanthropic or federal or state monies, right? And those, those come with strings attached, right?
Yes.
And they oftentimes are, don't support research across the whole university, but tend to focus on only those pockets of university research that are particularly lucrative or beneficial to elite institutions
Yeah.
in society, right? So anyways, it's these things are all interconnected, right? But that to me,
Yeah,
that's one
so
of the
for
huge things we're
for
fighting
so
for around
that's
workload.
the biggest one for workload is that, fighting for that 3-3. It'll be an uphill battle. They do not want to compromise or bend one iota towards that. The other thing that we're asking for lecturers, article is Article 12. And this one is like we're shooting for the stars on this one. Because again, we have a lot of lecturers on the bargaining team, and we have a lot of lecturers that are long-term. Like lecturers that have been lecturers for over 20 years have seen some shit. Like we've gone through some crazy, crazy shit. Like my ex-husband was diagnosed with cancer, and I had already been a lecturer for 10 years. You would think I would have some job security. Of course not. So he was diagnosed with a really gnarly form of cancer on my benefits. And I had a chair, and all lecturers can say like, oh yeah, we had a chair that was great. We had a chair that was the devil. What do you do?
Yeah.
That determines a lot. And I had a chair that was, holy hell. I'm not sure what was with him, but no empathy whatsoever. Like total bleep blorp robot. Didn't matter. No
Terrible.
empathy. And so he just decided one fall, I need to cut you down. I can only offer you one course this fall, down from like 3 the prior semester. And I said, well, why is that? He goes, well, because I really want to teach this lower division this fall.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I said, oh, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like you can teach the upper division and give me the lower division. He goes, yeah, but I really don't want to. I really feel like teaching this lower division this time. And I'm like, I'm going to lose my benefits. My husband is undergoing chemo and radiation right now. This was before, the changes to to Obamacare that allowed for pre-existing conditions. So like we were really going to be screwed.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, this is going to be a major problem. He's like, yeah, well, sorry. And I'm like, what? So I'm frantic. I literally, at that point, there was one lecturer above me, and she had 3 courses. You only needed 2 to maintain your benefits. I literally had to bribe her and say, I will teach your course so we can both have 2 and maintain our benefits. I will pay you the money for that course.
Oh my
plus
god.
Plus an extra $1,000 out of my pocket.
Just to keep the insurance.
Yes.
Oh my god, bro.
And
so sorry.
so she agreed. Like this is the kind of crazy shit.
This would be against the law.
Right. In addition to like just being told every year, yeah, we probably won't have anything for you. Yeah, we probably won't have anything for you. Like it's this, and the environment is one of cannibalism because there's really no tiebreakers for lecturers. If you're in the same boat, it doesn't matter if you were in that boat for 20 years or if you were in that boat for 3 years. The chair can decide, oh, you get it, not you. So it creates this environment of I've got to kiss my chair's ass. I've got to hate this person. Like it's cannibalism.
This is explaining my whole college experience now, because I was like, in my department, I was like, what is wrong with these people? They all hate each other.
Yes. And so my department was relatively small. So I was, it wasn't much of an issue for me. We got along. But in large departments like English or where there are just scores of lecturers all in the same boat, it's horrible. You're fighting over the cookie. Meanwhile, you know, the provost has just mountains of cookies. Like, it's just awful. And so one of the things that we're putting in the Article 12 proposal, which does not cost a lot, it's just decency, is we said, look, we want to have a path to permanency for lecturers. If you are a lecturer that has been serving as a full-time lecturer, meaning you're teaching a full load every year for decades, why are you still on these rotating 3-year contracts where every year you have to worry that your course load is going to drop, or that some chair that hates you is just going to, you know, sabotage your course load, and then now you're kicked out of that, you know, group? If you've been there for decades, there should be just a continuous appointment. Like, you're now on a continuous appointment, because here's the problem. Back in around 20, I want to say like 2010-ish, 2011, ushered in this era of just turning all lecturers into, like, you know, seasonal workers almost. Like, okay, we're gonna just keep hiring and hiring part-timers, and nobody's gonna get more than a couple courses. And it used to be that the ratio of tenure track to lecturers at one point when I first started was 2-to-1 tenure track to lecturers.
Wow.
Now it's like 3-to-1 the other way. And so what you end up having is zero job security for anyone.
Yeah.
No way to put together a meaningful career that you can actually retire. I've already accepted the fact that I'll never retire. And if I never retire, I guess I'll count my blessings, because it means I still have a job. But like, you know, but that's a common trope amongst lecturers, and a common story. And so what we're proposing is, number one, you get hired on as a lecturer. If you get 4 years in the bank, then you get a 3-year contract. That instead of now it's 6, but cut it down to 4. Then after your second 3-year contract, so you've been there 10 years now, you will be eligible for what we've called a long-term lecturer position. We're not married to that name. We'll call it something else, but it's got to still be separate from like a tenure track tenure. But it's basically that once you've been there 10 years, you will have a, you know, an entitlement, a workload, a position that is no longer revolving every 3 years. You have to try to petition again. It'll just be, if you're in good standing, that's your lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And what it means is, and this should have happened a long time ago, is you're going to be more thoughtful when it comes to hiring new lecturers, because you've got to take care of your existing ones first. And we're also proposing that existing ones that have been hired since, you know, February 26, we're putting it as, that they're going to be protected. They're going to be given courses to bring them up to full status first before you can hire anyone new.
That's good.
Because a common story is somebody that's been here 5 years, they're still stuck at 2 classes a semester, and they keep hiring new people. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. So get rid of that ability and make it so that the ones that are here are brought up to full. Because they need to be able to have a meaningful, like, so many lecturers are working multiple gigs. I work multiple gigs. And it gets to be insane. The other thing we're proposing is that range elevations. That's where you go from basically one column of pay to another. It's kind of like a promotion.
Not like step increases, or
no, it's not step increases.
okay.
It's basically like steps are within a range. This is a whole other column.
Okay.
So
Got
like
it.
in the public school system, you get moved from column to column as you get more units post graduation. That's what K through 12 does. This would be kind of similar, but it would be the existing policy is you can only be eligible for range elevation if you have 5 years at the max of your existing range. That never happens.
I see.
No lecturer ever, because we don't have automatic increases.
Yeah.
So this is something that never happens. That is a unicorn, getting 5 years at a max. Nobody ever reaches the max. So what we want to say is, look, get that arbitrary requirement gone, separate it from that, and just make it, when you get that first 3-year contract, so after your first 4 years, you get moved up a range.
Yeah.
Then after your second 3-year contract, when you're eligible for that long-term position, you get moved up another range.
Yeah.
Now, if there's still any ranges left, it would be after 5 years.
Yeah.
So just make it regular so people can predict things going on in their life, you know? And so we've gotten shot down on all of them, of course. But we haven't budged on any of it because this is something that when you look at the grand scheme of things, cost to the CSU, this is not a huge cost. Giving somebody security is not a huge cost. Giving, rewarding the people that have been here for years, that's not a huge cost. And so, yeah, that's if we were to get that, that would fundamentally change the entire structure of what it means to be a lecturer, which I think would be welcome to so many of us.
It'd be great for students too. I mean, you mentioned the challenge of having to spread your time across multiple institutions, right?
Yeah.
If we can get folks up to full time with a degree of job security, right? Then knowing that you're a student that has a professor that's running around to 4 or 5 different institutions, teaching a class here, teaching a class there, teaching more than is possible because they're trying to put food on the table and a roof over their heads, right? That doesn't create for good learning conditions, right?
No.
And also it keeps lecturers out of the campus community. Because lecturers don't feel like they are part of a campus family. And so it's literally they in large part do not attend department meetings because they've got to be somewhere else. And so they're kind of like this forgotten, they feel very much isolated, not cared about at all. We all know we're at the bottom of the totem pole of the chopping, first head on the chopping block. And so it's always anxiety filled. And so if we can change that structure to make it stable, it would go a long way towards just helping the mental health of this group of people. I'm telling you, the reason why I was never involved in the union was because you're conditioned to just be grateful for every crumb you get, and you don't want to ruffle any feathers, and you want to be on everybody's good side, and you feel like you can't talk about anybody. So lecturers in large part don't feel empowered to actually be active union members. That's a problem, and I'm sure the CSU relies on that. We have the lowest rate of membership, and I'm sure the CSU wants to keep that system in place. It's a very powerful position. But yeah, so we're hoping that could fundamentally change the structure of what it means to be a lecturer at very little cost. And then when we get to salary is going to be the biggest. Again, for people that don't know, our funding structure is inherently different than K through 14 is what it really is. So they have guaranteed step increases. You get hired on, you'll get a significant raise every single year. That's aside from any cost of living adjustments for inflation, which are additional. And people forget that is just part of the structure. Sometimes I wonder, man, what is it really that the K through 14 unions, bargain for? Because like, wow, like it's really icing on the cake, anything they can get. For us, any increase in pay we get has to be bargained. Otherwise, the CSU will never give us a raise. We have nothing guaranteed in terms of raises. And so what we are proposing is to have a COLA +2, which will essentially ensure that our pay, our pay is already well below what it should be, but the increases will keep us ahead of inflation. So COLA is cost of living adjustment, which will be determined by an inflationary index. And then on top of that, an additional 2%. So it's not just a raise to keep us equal with inflation, but to keep us ahead of inflation. That would be insane to be able to win. It should be a bare minimum, but given our history, it's something that's long overdue. It's something that every employee should really be excited to get behind, because then it means that we don't have to keep coming back for basic increases. We're also requiring or demanding that we have regular SSIs. So the SSIs are the salary step increases. It's the closest thing to actual steps that people have in normal jobs.
You guys don't have it regularly?
We don't have them. No, every time we get an SSI, it is negotiated.
Oh my goodness.
Here's why nobody reaches the max, because every time we negotiate a general salary increase, that pushes the ceiling farther away. So that's why nobody ever reaches the ceiling. So we want to propose that the SSIs are automatic, yearly, on your anniversary, done.
Yeah.
And it's they're not huge. It's 2%, 2.6%. It's not a huge amount. But it should be the bare minimum increase for your years of service. So we want to make that automatic. We want to also bring up the floor of what's called the C range, which is the third column over.
Mm-hmm.
Our last contract brought up the floor of A and B, so C was kind of left out. So we want to correct that, bring up the floor by $3,000 for the minimum of what a C makes. We also want to make it so that the lowest salary that any Unit 3 could possibly be paid would be tied to 10% of the chancellor's salary.
Oh my God. That's a good
So,
idea.
so if she's getting a raise, we're all getting raises.
So if you make
And
400,000, at least
right.
40,000,
Oh,
right?
well, no. But
Oh.
the chancellor,
Oh, the
there's a reason-
chancellor. Oh my
we
God,
call
yeah.
her $1 million Millie for a reason.
Oh,
So her
man.
base salary before the benefits is around 79,600 or so.
Oh my
I mean, I'm sorry,
God, no.
796.
Yeah, not
like 700.
79,000.
Sorry. Like it's like 796,000. So that would put the bare minimum that anybody could make. The lowest level of A column would
Mhm.
be 79,600, which would be a significant increase to that category. And again, I was mentioning to you what the base first year pay of a public school teacher is. So asking for 79 is not outrageous, by any means. So we have that in there as well. But yeah, so if we can get those asks, that would be enormous. And what the CSU has proposed is no different than what they proposed last year during austerity. A 1-year cookie equal to like 3% of your salary.
Mm-hmm.
It does not go towards your base pay. It does not go towards your retirement pay. Nothing. It's nothing. It's just here. Sorry. And so that's insulting.
Yeah.
And then they came back after we said that's horseshit. We know you're getting more money. Then they came back with 3%.
Oh, wow.
But 3%. But we've been at the bargaining table for a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
No back pay.
Oh, that's
No retro.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
3% for 1 year, and then we have to reopen. Like, it's so insulting. It's just ridiculous. And we're like, you're playing with monopoly money when you give these assholes these sweetheart deals upon retirement.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't care about $400,000 for somebody who ran a campus into the ground. So it's not a money issue. But yet, when it comes to us, you're a miser counting pennies. Like, this is so ridiculous. And then on top of that, they can very easily fix this problem of their perceived budgetary crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Because back in the 90s, the CSU dedicated over 50% of their budget to go directly to instruction.
Mm.
We have the formula for treating faculty with respect. That percentage has gone down to, I believe it's 36% now.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So this is something that they could change tomorrow. They can say, okay, because K through 14 as part of their funding structure, they already have that in place.
Yeah.
That it has to be, at least 50% goes to instruction.
Yeah.
It works. The model works.
Yeah.
So the chancellor's office could fix this quite easily if they vowed to increase the amount that goes directly to instruction by at least, 15%.
Yeah.
Do that. Write that in tomorrow. And then, wow,
like that just makes me wonder, like, if instruction's not the number one priority, what is
Exactly.
it? What is it?
What is the function of a university? This is the core question. Yeah. What is the function of a university? Are we a trade school now? A for-profit institution where we're going to be in bed and indebted to, private corporations? Or are we an institution for higher learning? Yeah. What is it? It can't be both. You either respect academia and the faculty that are educating your students, or you don't.
Yeah.
The other institution that has the power to fix this too is the legislature, right? That 1990s policy of more than 53%, I think is the number that once was required to go to instruction, right? That's something that has been proposed in the legislature as a law that should be on the books here for the CSU. If the state is going to be funding this institution with public tax dollars, that money should go to the core mission of the institution, right?
Yeah.
Which is instruction, right?
And the messaging rights
yeah.
itself, I can't think of any parent of any student or any student who would be against increased funding directly tied to instruction.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's either the kids are just, they don't know. We're ignorant.
Instead, what we've seen over the decades here is that, and this was a quote from a CFA member from several years ago, is that as the student body for the CSU got darker, right, the funding got lighter, right? And so what we're talking about here is it's a social and racial justice issue, right?
Yeah.
And so, and again, these are things that, the legislature, the chancellor's office, can, should, and must fix, because our institution is too important for the state and for our communities.
Well, I want to see the data on public perception as well, because I think that that's another problem, is that, yes, as student bodies across the country have become more diverse and have become darker, that, somehow the propaganda messaging against higher ed has resonated to the point where public perception is at an all-time low. And I think that's kind of, equally disturbing. Why is it that because we have diverse students now, all of a sudden, large swaths of the population are distrusting of academia? What?
Yeah, it's because the diverse students are actually going there and asking for change, right? So that's the problem with diverse students.
Right.
Stupid. All right. We have a couple more minutes left. Anything else important that you guys want to bring up, or just like some shout outs?
Oh my gosh.
I think we covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about.
I know. Shout out to Tiffany Jones. Hello.
Sure.
She's our campus president. She's a supreme badass.
Chapter president.
Chapter president.
Yes. Sorry.
So yeah, no, Tiffany is just outstanding, and has really just breathed so much vitality into our union chapter, and we got an awesome team of officers in our chapter, and the biggest executive board in the CFA statewide, and we're excited for this upcoming academic year to hold our campus and the system accountable. There's no more important, there are CFA members or CSUSB faculty who are not yet members. There's no more important time than right now for folks to become members and to get involved. Corey hit on a number of key proposals that we're fighting for, but even if we just look at salary, right? Your salaries will not improve unless we come together and fight for them, right? That's literally how this is structured. Our salaries do not change unless CFA fights for it, and we are, right? But we need everybody in that fight.
Yeah, our power is in our numbers. So membership numbers, it's a direct correlation. So it's really crucial to get those numbers up. Also, shout out to the Teamsters, because they're in the same fight, especially Teamsters 2010.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like they're getting screwed. Like, I mean, they had an offer of 3% a year ago, and then it was just yanked. What the hell?
Yeah.
What? And no explanation, none. Just like silence. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So they show up in mass for all of our actions, and we try to respond in kind to theirs as well.
Yeah. Academic Professionals of California, CSU EU,
Oh, wow.
UAW, who represents our graduate teaching associates
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
other student employees. Inland Empire Labor Council.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
This is a region-wide and a working class fight, right?
Yeah.
And we're excited to work with all these parties to get the best we can, not just for CFA members, but for working class members across the IE.
Definitely. Yeah,
So
building.
we're getting ready. We're getting ready to go to mediation. Then fact finding will be after that, and so it's going to be a quick process these next few weeks. Hopefully leading up to some potential action this fall. So
right. Yeah.
you're gonna see notifications potentially of strike vote and then strike sometime this semester.
Wow. We got some W's for you guys in the chat. I think we got CFA. Shout out to Corey and TC2. We got
Aw.
another comment saying, how can we support CFA as viewers? I'm pissed as hell hearing about these injustice for so many hardworking people.
TC, you take that.
Yeah. I mean, share this video.
Share this
right?
video, yeah.
But follow us on social media, share the things that we are highlighting, talk to your local state assembly member and state senator, right? And tell them that both the funding is important, right? But it's not just the amount of funding, which we're really excited that the governor and the legislature have come together to fully fund the CSU, but it's also the percentage that goes to instruction, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a key message right now. Returning to 53% like it was in the 90s would be huge. And tell them to hold the CSU and the chancellor and the board of trustees accountable, and our campus presidents when they do things that don't support workers in the CSU and don't support the students that we serve.
I mean, we have a chancellor and a BOT right now when it comes to financial management, and it's this is kind of a metaphor. You have a university. The faculty and the students and the instruction and the learning are like, it's like your house, and it's keeping the lights on, keeping, the heat on, the air conditioning going, keeping your rent paid.
Yeah.
And we have a chancellor that when we get this windfall, instead of paying our necessities, she's, taking a trip to, Europe. And the electricity's being turned off, and we're going into foreclosure.
Oh my
and
God.
it all it is choices. A budget isn't even the money you have.
Yeah.
A budget is the decisions you make.
Yeah.
So when they say, oh, there's no money in the budget, that's bullshit. There's money. It's where are they choosing to allocate it? They're deciding not to pay their rent or feed their family. They're deciding to go blow it in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of, chancellor and BOT, and then at the campus level presidents that have been running the institutions into the ground. So anytime you hear their bullshit of, oh, budget crisis, it's a crisis because, oh, we can't build this new shiny structure that's going to be useless and vacant, but we really want that ribbon cutting ceremony picture.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not money for that they're whining about. They don't care about paying us. They could say, screw new infrastructure. We don't need it. Let's pay our workers. Let's, invest in our students. And they're choosing not to. It's like it's like that young adult that has no financial literacy and doesn't understand why they can't pay their rent and also buy the freaking Louis Vuitton bullshit. Like, it's so
What do you
frustrating.
mean I can't get Uber Eats for every meal?
Right.
And just to be clear, in this metaphor, also the Louis Vuitton is a janky piece of AI, right?
Right.
That is meanwhile, as faculty in the classrooms, we're navigating a deluge of problems associated with this tool that has been imposed upon us by the chancellor as part of a marketing scheme, right?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
and
essentially
our
what it is.
campus's MSPA program is like, well, we went to Vegas and put it all in black.
Mhm.
Oops,
Yeah.
it was red.
It was red,
Damn,
yeah.
can't
And
fault us for trying to make money. It's like, but you
if
did
that's
it
the
in
goal, just be honest about it, you know?
right, right. Your
But
methods are insanity. You're gambling and then using the money from tuition increases imposed on students and the money saved from firing staff and faculty en masse. That's the money that you're using to just gamble
yeah,
They
on
need it.
bullshit.
They need an intervention.
intervention.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
set it up.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. Taking time out of your extra busy day now that I know that you guys have to do research for free, essentially. I really appreciate it. If you guys ever want to come back on, I'd be more than happy to have you guys on. Maybe after you guys go through your negotiations, that would be kind of cool.
Cool, I'm
But
gonna take you up on that when we start entering, getting closer and closer to a strike.
yeah.
For
So
sure. Thank you so much for the time and for highlighting what we're up to, highlighting other stuff that's going on in the IE. I'm really excited for the work you're doing.
thank you. All right. Any last final words? No.
Fun the classroom, not the boardroom.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good
Thanks.
one. Have a good weekend. Peace out.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, chat. Damn, that was amazing. Amazing. We went a little bit over, but yeah, good interview. We went a little bit over, so we're gonna have to cut the Chad Bianco stuff today and save that for another day. But let me play outro music. Because that was such a good interview. I feel so hyped. I feel like labor power is restored. I feel like education is really important and we can actually do something about it, so yeah, I'll definitely put in the description of this video. The audio's not working, whatever. I'll put in the description of this video links to everything so that way we can help support. And then yeah, we'll share the video. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps me out a lot. I'm trying to, continue doing independent journalism, cover stories like this, continue covering labor action because, we all got to, the class consciousness is pretty much the only consciousness that matters right now because we got $1 Million Millie over there, trying to take our money. And she has consciousness not for our class, even though she probably is in our class, but she's got class consciousness for the upper class. So yes, drop the placentas in the chat. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. It was my pleasure. I'll be back next week. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Peace out, everyone.